Welcome to the Astro Guy podcast. I'm your host, Wayne Zuhl, and in this episode, we're going to talk about something that often gets overlooked in our technology-driven hobby, the pure joy of visual observing. For the last 5 years, most of my time under the stars has been dedicated to astrophotography. Imaging has its rewards, there's no doubt about that. There's something incredible about capturing photons that have been traveling across space for thousands, millions, or even billions of years, and then turning them into a detailed picture that shows what the human eye can't quite catch. But recently, I rediscovered something I had been missing out on. I spent 3 hours under the stars with nothing but my eyes and a pair of 7x50 binoculars. No cameras, no telescope, no cables, no laptop. Just me, the sky, and a quiet night. And I have to tell you, it was magical. So this past Labor Day weekend, I was at a much darker location than my house, and the weather for Saturday night was predicting cool temps and clear skies. As darkness fell that evening, the sky was beautifully clear. After giving myself several minutes to get dark adapted, I wanted to get my bearings and figure out exactly what parts of the sky would be visible. Taking a seat on a wooden deck with just my old Fujinon 7x50 binoculars and my phone, no tripod, binocular mount, or telescope, I wanted to experience the sky in the most basic way, just simple visual observing. Even with a bright first quarter moon hanging low in the west, the Milky Way was easily visible. It stretched overhead from Cygnus, straight through Lacerta, and over to Cassiopeia. That river of stars is something I'll never get tired of seeing, no matter how many times I've looked at it. Familiar favorites jumped out quickly. The tiny faint constellation Sagitta was visible, as was the nearby asterism the coat hanger. Later in the evening, the Andromeda Galaxy M31 was obvious to the naked eye, as was the double cluster in Perseus. Through the 7x50s, I pushed a little deeper. First, I turned to M11, and it appeared as a bright, hazy patch of light. Then I looked at the coat hanger. The asterism looked so beautiful, hanging suspended in the darkness. Next, I caught the delicate arcs of the Veil Nebula, both the east and western sections. After that, I looked for the North American Nebula. It was faint, but it was there, and with Deneb out of the field of view, it was much easier to see. Sweeping through the star fields of Cygnus, Lacerta, and Cepheus absolutely took my breath away. Dozens of clusters were visible, and it was difficult at times finding my way, as so many more stars were visible than I usually see. A little after 10 p.m. that night, I decided to try to figure out just how faint a star I could see with my naked eye. Cygnus was near the zenith, and I was able to spot several stars as faint as magnitude 5.3. At my home, on a moonless night, I'm lucky if I can see down to magnitude 3.5. So this was a huge change. It was around then that I saw a bright star low in the east. Soon I realized it was Saturn. Even with the binoculars, I could just see the thin rings, and faint Neptune was visible in the same binocular field as a faint bluish dot, making for a fun double object. Another interesting thing happened. As I was watching the sky, I was seeing lots of bright satellites. At first I thought, maybe that's the ISS or Tiangong. But when I checked on heavens above, they were coming up as Starlink satellites, their brightness peaking around second magnitude when I saw them. These tiny satellites appear a lot fainter than the large space stations orbiting the planet, which can appear very bright. So it was really shocking how bright they seemed to me, when a month ago, they were barely visible from where I was imaging. After about 15 minutes of this, I shut the app off. I didn't want to ruin my dark adaptation. Around this time, I realized that the smile hadn't left my face the entire time that I was observing. But what made the night even more special was the location. I wasn't at a dark sky site. I was on the deck at our new home, just a few steps away from my wife and my dog. Knowing that this kind of observing is possible right here from home fills me with excitement. It means more nights like this are in my future, and once I set up my scopes for imaging, the sky is really going to open up. as I'll be able to enjoy visual observing with binoculars or one of my scopes while imaging with another. Before going in the house, I sat at our patio table and just looked up. Seeing the sky from this angle helps me to figure out where the observatory should be. But as I sat there looking at the Milky Way, hearing the crickets chirping, it struck me how different this felt compared to imaging. When I'm doing astrophotography, there's a lot of setup, polar alignment, cabling, checking the software, guiding, focusing, and more. And once the sequence is up and running, I'm mostly just monitoring screens, repeating the process night after night until I catch enough photons. The final images can be impressive, but the experience is so much more technical. Until now, creating a single deep sky image could require 10 or more clear nights for me to capture enough data to hopefully bring out the faint details while making the brighter parts blend together into a scientifically accurate and appealing image. It's not easy to do, and any astrophotographer will tell you that. But I still believe the end result is worth the effort. But with visual observing, it's the opposite. It's immediate. You look, and there it is. No downloads, no calibration frames, no hours of processing. Just light hitting your eyes in real time. There's a connection there that imaging can't quite replicate. And there's a history to this. For most of human history, astronomy was an entirely visual pursuit. Ancient cultures looked up and mapped the stars into constellations, weaving them into myths and stories that explain their world. The Greeks measured the motions of the planets and cataloged stars by eye, with nothing more than careful observation and patient record-keeping. Fast forward to the Renaissance, and we meet Galileo, with a small crude telescope with optics no better than something you could buy at a cheap department store. He revolutionized our understanding of the universe. He sketched the craters and mountains of the moon. He tracked the moons of Jupiter, and he showed us that Saturn wasn't a perfect sphere, but a planet with strange appendages we now know are rings, and all of it was done visually through direct observation. In the 18th century, William Herschel swept the skies with his homemade telescopes. Night after night, he and his sister Caroline cataloged nebulae, clusters, and double stars, many of which remain favorite visual targets today. Again, this was the power of the human eye paired with simple instruments. Even in the 20th century, before imaging became mainstream, astronomers relied on sketching what they saw at the eyepiece. Observatories kept detailed logbooks filled with drawings and notes. It wasn't just science, it was also a way of experiencing the sky. And here's the thing, even today, with all our technology, many of the most rewarding moments in astronomy still come from that direct connection. Imaging can reveal astonishing detail, but observing lets you feel the sky in a way no image on a screen can. There's something deeply personal and immediate about letting starlight fall directly on your retina. Photons that left their source ages ago, finally completing their journey in your eye. The light you see may have begun its journey hundreds, thousands, or even millions of years ago. An open cluster in Cassiopeia might send photons that have been traveling for 7,000 years, while a distant galaxy's light may have been on its way for millions of years. And here's the remarkable part. Those photons traveled across unimaginable distances without slowing down or fading away, surviving dust clouds, gravitational bends, and the vastness of space itself, only to end their long voyage by striking the back of your eye. No camera sensor, no telescope mirror, no screen in between, just you, your eye, and the universe. That connection is hard to put into words. It's not just observing, it's participation. You become the final chapter of a story that started when those photons were born, whether in the nuclear furnace of a star, the explosive blast of a supernova, or the glowing gas of a nebula. In that moment, you're not just looking at the universe, you're in it, woven into the same fabric of space and time as the stars themselves. For years, I've always said that the best way to begin in astronomy is with binoculars. If you already own a pair, you're halfway there. You don't need to spend a fortune on equipment. a modest pair of 7x50s can show you dozens or even hundreds of objects. Binoculars have some big advantages. They're portable, easy to use, and give you a wide field of view. That makes it much easier to navigate the sky. With both eyes open, the view feels more natural and immersive than peering through a single eyepiece. You can sweep along the Milky Way, spotting clusters, nebulae, and dark lanes that would be difficult to take in all at once with a telescope. They're also the perfect tool for learning the sky. Instead of getting lost in magnification or narrow fields, you see constellations in context. That means that you'll build confidence quickly in finding objects and connecting what you see in the sky to charts or apps. And one of the best parts? Binocular observing is relaxing. There's no setup time, no fiddling with mounts or alignment. Just step outside, lift them to your eyes, and the universe opens up. Whether it's the craters on the moon, the moons of Jupiter, or the glow of the Andromeda Galaxy, binoculars remind us that the night sky doesn't require complicated gear to be enjoyed, and anyone can find the time to do it. Some of my favorite binocular targets include the Andromeda Galaxy, M31. In binoculars, you can easily see the core of the galaxy and its two bright companions. With extended observing time and dark skies, you can even tease out hints of the spiral arms. The double cluster in Perseus may be my all-time favorite binocular object, but then I've always loved open clusters. Another great target for the winter sky is M45, the Pleiades in Taurus, as well as the larger Hyades. Both are stunning through binoculars. The Orion Nebula M42 is another showpiece. It's easily visible from even moderately light-polluted skies. Under dark skies, the view is nothing short of breathtaking. In the summer months, the Lagoon Nebula in Sagittarius is a standout binocular object, and honestly, the list could go on and on. You'll quickly find favorites you'll return to again and again. If you're new to binocular observing, here are a few tips to make it a little easier for you. Lie back in a chair or use a reclining lawn chair to support your arms and neck. Dark adapt if you can. Even 20 minutes away from bright lights will help to reveal more stars. You'll notice the difference. Use a star chart or an app like Stellarium to help identify what you're seeing. Be sure to use a red flashlight or night mode to help preserve your night vision. Be patient. Some objects require careful observation. Averted vision, looking slightly off-center, can help to bring out faint details. As always, your local astronomy club is a great resource for guidance. Online, cloudynights.com has a forum dedicated to binocular observing. It's a fun and free place to get help and share your experiences. And if you want the best book on the subject, check out Touring the Universe Through Binoculars by Phil Harrington, a two-time guest on this show. It's a complete guide for beginners, and even seasoned observers will find something new in it. I'll leave a link to it in the show notes. Now, after that magical night, I'm not saying that I'm giving up imaging. I still love it, and I'll be setting up my rigs here at the new house soon. But the experience reminded me that there's room for both. Imaging lets us document the sky in fine detail. It allows us to share it with others and reveal things our eyes can't see on their own. But visual observing does something different. It connects us directly to the universe. It's about the experience itself, not just the result. The healthiest way to approach this hobby, I think, is to strike a balance. Spend some nights capturing photons on your camera sensor, and others just letting them fall on your retina, like they've done for countless generations. Having that balance can keep both parts of the hobby fresh, meaningful, and deeply rewarding. So here's my challenge to you. Pick one night to leave the camera inside. Step out with nothing but your eyes, or maybe a pair of binoculars, and spend an hour just observing. Notice how different it feels. Notice how much you can see, even without special equipment. I think you'll be surprised at how rewarding it is. That recent Saturday night reminded me why I fell in love with the night sky in the first place. It's not about the gear or the images or the technical details. At its heart, astronomy is about wonder, about standing under the stars, looking up, and realizing you're part of something vast and beautiful. So next time you have a clear night, go out and look. Don't worry about equipment or preparation. Just look. Because the most powerful telescope you'll ever use is the one that you're already carrying. Your eyes. Well, that's all for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Please be sure to subscribe. This way you won't miss future episodes. And if you do take up the challenge and spend some time visually observing, let me know what you saw. I'd love to hear about your experiences. If you've got questions, feedback, or ideas for future episodes, you can always reach me at astroguypodcast@gmail.com or by text or voicemail to 973-404-0380. Be sure to check out the Astro Guy Podcast group on Facebook and visit our YouTube channel for past episodes, observing tips, and bonus content. If you enjoyed this episode, please like, subscribe, comment, and share. It really helps us reach more fellow Skywatchers. And if you'd like to support the show, you can even buy us a cup of coffee. Every bit goes toward keeping the microphones on, the computers running, and the telescopes pointed skyward. The link is in the show notes. Until next time, may your skies be clear. And as always, carpe noctem. Seize the night. I'm Wayne Zool, and this was the Astro Guy Podcast. Thank you for listening. As always, your questions, comments, and suggestions are welcome. Keep wondering. Keep your eyes on the sky. Have fun. Carpe noctem. Seize the night.